In their town, when Abby's boyfriend unexpectedly drops out of the school play, she is forced to help outlier Matt step into the role opposite her. Over the course of a long night wandering their small town, the two examine their futures and unearth surprises from their past. Their town is directed by Katie Aselton, and she has directed films such as The Freebie and Mac and Rita, and Their Town just debuted at the 2026 South by Southwest Film Festival. Their Town is written by the director's husband, Mark Duplass, and the teenage girl Abby in the film is played by their daughter, Aura Duplass, in her feature film acting debut. Their Town sort of plays like I'll read the link later's Before trilogy. We have instead of a young couple in their 20s, it's two teenagers, maybe 16. Actually, I think Abby is about 16, 17, and Matt, played by Chosen Jacobs, is 18. And most of the film they spend wandering around their small town at night time, just talking and getting to know each other. Both Abby and Matt are both going through a few things in their life at the moment, and Abby is definitely not afraid to show the troubles that she's having in her life at the moment, but Matt is more inward and more introverted. Abby is living with her mother, and she doesn't really approve of the on and off boyfriend that she has at the moment, and Abby is having a bit of difficulties with her boyfriend at the time, who dropped out of the school play, and her boyfriend recently cheated on her, so she's having a bit of insecurity issues. And Matt has anxiety issues, and he had these issues for a few years, and in the second half of the film he divulges these issues with Abby in a very emotional scene. What worked for me in this film is the two performances from Aura Duplass and Chosen Jacobs as Abby and Matt. They really come across as real teenagers. Usually films that depict high school teenagers, they're cliched and just caricatures of, like, there's a jock or there's a cheerleader or there's the popular girl, and these two teenagers just come across as normal people. Like Aura Duplass has the looks of like a cheerleader or of one of the popular girls, and even Matt in this film teases her about that, but she just comes across as a very relatable, insecure, normal teenage girl. And as the film goes on, Matt opens up. We get to know about him more and more, about his life and his history and his issues in his life, and he comes across as very human as well. And for the most part, the dialogue in this film feels like very real and natural. Sometimes you do feel like these teenagers, especially if you go outside and just overhear teenagers talking now, you think these people are stupid, but in this film they speak very eloquently and intelligently and very relatable. So sometimes it's quite refreshing to hear that in this film, but at the same time, this film you can feel that film is written by a man in his late 40s. At the beginning of the film, when Abby's boyfriend drops out of the play, Matt reluctantly he's helping out the stage play. He's like painting backgrounds and stuff like that. He's not really involved in acting in the play, and the teacher and the acting teacher chooses him to replace Abby's boyfriend, and he doesn't really want to do it. But as the film goes on, Abby helps him out rehearsing the lines, and it's nice to see as the film goes on that Abby and Matt bounce off each other very well, and as the film goes on, they really open up to each other, and that's one of the strengths of this film. And it really does come to a very emotional scene at the end of the film, maybe a 5-minute scene where at the end of the scene they're rehearsing the play, and it's kind of like a little bit meta where they're rehearsing the play, but the words they're saying are also reflective of how they feel about each other as they learn about each other throughout that night. I give Their Town 3.5 stars out of 5. I definitely recommend checking out this film. Their Town has two very impressive feature debut by Aura Duplass in her acting debut, and also Chosen Jacobs is very good as well. And just the dialogue in these characters feel quite real. It's quite different to other teenagers we see in other films, and it really these people really get to know them as the film goes on. It really comes to a nice emotional scene at the end of the film. So I do recommend checking out this film, Their Town. Thanks for watching. What do you think of Their Town? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.